solutions. And when we have this conversation, maybe you looked at the global picture, but we look at the details. This Senate, we are very well equipped alongside our partners, the OAG, the EACC, etc. We look at the details. So we probably will not exit this without exhausting the details and finding a solution that will also help you. And I hope that as you're having this conversation, you can be open-minded, because there is a problem. In fact, when you tell us that 51 million has been lumped up as miscellaneous receipts, that should be a serious problem. There is no way as a shopkeeper you can have, you can receive money and not know whether you sold omo or salt or sugar. I mean, that's even a corner kiosk is not run like that. So that alone should drive you to demand more from your receiver of revenue. Because we know that the PFM assigns that responsibility to a specific officer who's paid a salary. The question raised by Senator Mwaruma on cess, for example, I think that Trans Nzoia has a lot of agricultural activity. Perhaps it's the bedrock of the economy. Just come to that breakdown, note 12 on your financial statement on cess. Where cess dropped from 44 million to 11 million. Does it mean that during this transition, because I don't know at what point cess is collected, is it on the road? Is it at the farm gate? Is it at the market?
On the road.
So does it mean during this transition of system, even the ropes that are put on the roads were pulled out?
Mr. Chairman, as we speak now, because of the measure that we put in place, cess is the best performing revenue source in Trans Nzoia as we speak now.
Estimated to be around how much?
Actually, we exceeded by how much last year? 8. Last year, we collected 8 million from cess.
So there's no reason why cess should ever go down in any financial year, isn't it?
There isn't any reason why it should.
So where you've got a 30 million drop in cess, it means probably 30 million plus was collected and stolen.
That possibility is there.
Now let's deal with that possibility so that we assign responsibility.
You have made a very crucial point on receiver of revenue. The governor has chosen to ignore my question on how long the receiver of revenue has been acting, because that is a very important person in terms of the whole architecture and design. Governor, you have not answered the question on how long your receiver of revenue has been acting, because from the report that is on receiver of revenue is here, how long has he been acting, yet he is paid and designated. And then, Chair, in addition to cess, I also believe issues of parking should be easy, because you remember Turkana even were using POS in terms of parking fees within Kitale, within Lodwar town. So the question should be, even in street parking fees, the drop of 14 million is very high, because the street parking is marked and it is easy to know which street parking is. So the governor, as he answers how long the ROR has been acting on the issue of parking, and also says almost go in similar way, because these street parking are marked and it can be easily traced. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Chairman, if you go on page 21 of our document, you'll see how we have disaggregated that miscellaneous.
Page 21 of which document? Because you had responded to
the receiver of revenue document.
Your response was on page 92. So we go back to page 21.
21. Of the 15 million under miscellaneous, page 21. Yeah?
51 million, not 15, right?
Of the 51 million, yes. Total 51 million, 51, cess accounts for 18 million. So this 18 million should have been captured under cess.
That leaves us with a gap of about 14 million compared to prior year, isn't it? It's still a drop.
Yeah.
And I want to emphasize this. You don't need to be defensive on this unless you are an accomplice. Allow us to have this conversation so that your staff, your receiver of revenue, can understand the consequence or professional negligence or the consequence of doing things against the act. And I think that's why Senator Cherargei is turning the heat on the ROR, the receiver of revenue. They have a responsibility under the PFM. And I think that if we just do a slap on the wrist on this thing and say that things have improved in subsequent years, there appears to be 20 million that has been stolen from the people of Trans Nzoia. Let's have this conversation so that we know where EACC should go. Whether they should go after the system vendors, whether they should go after the ROR, or whether they should go after the CEO. I think, Governor, you have agreed there is a problem. You have agreed there's a possibility of loss of funds if you look at these movements. Perhaps in the subsequent year we'll see an improvement. But that does not excuse this financial year. Senator Ombua.
Governor, on that page 21, I'm looking at miscellaneous receipt from slaughterhouse. 38,000. And I'm wondering, is it that the people of Trans Nzoia don't consume meat, or most of them are SDS? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, really, 13,000.
You know the chair is an Adventist.
I'm an Adventist.
Yes.
Chair, I think a lot of your relatives live in Trans Nzoia. I mean,
we eat meat.
You eat meat?
Yes.
So what?
Soya meat, not meat.
What is that? What's the explanation there, Governor?
Yeah, Chair, but there is a question by Senator Cherargei that should not be lost. When did the ROR begin acting? What happened to the previous ROR? Is it because, or was he or she, did she pave way because of possible malfeasance in revenue collection? I think that's an important question.
Governor, the slaughter fee and the ROR question.
Mr. Chairman, I cannot give a concrete response why the slaughter fee was low. Maybe the number of animals that were brought to be slaughtered were fewer. That could be the reason. I don't have another reason for that, because
I think it's also very difficult when you have already admitted that there were some data integrity issues, because it's also very difficult now to explain how some of those things arose. Because I thought it would have been easier to say, yes, we have had challenges, we have data integrity issues, we have migration issues, and therefore, what then should we recommend? Because if you try to explain numbers,
Chair, that's what I began by saying,
which in your view are not verifiable, then
I've already said that the system can't replace the mindset.
Yeah.
That's what I said. But you know, when you ask for information, I'm providing it, and then somewhere it becomes defensive, and the information is here. I'm just trying to say that says, second, not this much, but it's this much. There's a shortage indeed, and we admit there's a shortage.
Correct.
Can we do better? I believe we can do better.
The bottom line is that there's a 20 million drop, yes, which is not consistent with economic growth trends. Now, the question on the ROR asked by both Senator Cherargei and Senator Maruma.
As a county government, we've not been able to have a substantive receipt of revenue for some time. Actually, our last attempt to have one also failed. So we've been having acting receivers of revenue. I think we've had three now. Mr. Gisaka has been in office for the last 6 months or so. And all these changes are just in an attempt to get it right in terms of revenue collection.
No, Governor, the gentleman to your left is CC Finance.
Yes.
Should advise you that pursuant to PFM Act Section 165(2)A, there is nothing like an acting receiver of revenue. It requires the CEC Finance to designate in writing a receiver of revenue. While they have been designated, they are not acting, they are substantive. CEC, have you designated in writing a receiver of revenue? Because there's nothing, you can have director revenue that can be acting, but the receiver of revenue is appointed And whether they are an intern or whether they are substantive as long as the appointment is in force. This is a responsibility of CEC Finance pursuant to Section 165(2)A of the PFM Act.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I have designated him as the receiver of revenue, but the acting director of revenue.
But so there's nothing like acting receiver of revenue. They can be acting director of revenue, but as long as the designation lasts, they're substantive. And they take responsibility for any material non-disclosure or any shortfalls